everybody. Sonia Rollins. I'm your host for BACC Talk. Welcome. As all of you know, I hope, the Chamber of Commerce is dedicated to our nonprofit partners. This is a great show for us because we normally highlight our nonprofit members in a 30-minute or minute segment, but this time we have the pleasure of having Neurofibromatosis Northeast with us. Woo, that was a mouthful, but I did it. And so I want to welcome the ladies from the office, and if you guys would introduce yourself to the viewing audience, that would be great.
I'm Karen Peluso. I'm the Executive Director of Neurofibromatosis Northeast.
Great.
And I'm Diana Flayad, the Director of Operations and Events for Neurofibromatosis Northeast.
All right, so I have to say this to you, and you guys know this, but for those of you watching, here's a little tidbit. People also refer to you as NF, right? And that's because that's a mouthful to say.
Right.
But I have to say that the first time we were introducing you at a chamber event, I practiced that for days. Yeah, and it's so interesting to me because it's a mouthful, but once you get to say it, then you want to tell everybody.
Right.
I want to go around telling people your name. So in any event, tell me about neurofibromatosis, because I don't think many people really know what the disease is. So I think if we start with that, that might be the easiest way to do it.
Sure, and thank you, Sonia, for having us here. And also, thank you for saying the word neurofibromatosis.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, Karen. Yeah.
We really appreciate that because it helps us create awareness of a condition that is actually more common than cystic fibrosis and muscular dystrophy combined.
Wow.
Yet, when you say neurofibromatosis, people say, oh, I've never heard of that, or I can't say that word, or what is that? Right. So I'll tell you what it is. It's a genetic condition that causes tumors to form on the nerves anywhere in or on a person's body anytime in their life because you're born with it. So in neurofibromatosis type 1, which is the most common type of neurofibromatosis, one of the first signs is cafe au lait birthmarks on a baby's body. A pediatrician may notice these spots at birth, and then as the child gets older, they'll develop more of these cafe au lait spots on their body, and then the pediatrician will recommend that the child be examined by a neurologist. And then if there are other diagnostic criteria, they may confirm that this child has neurofibromatosis type 1. Now, as I said, neurofibromatosis type 1 is the most common. It affects 1 in 2,500 births. And it affects...
That's actually an unbelievable statistic.
It's really very common.
Yeah, right.
And the thing is, sometimes people have it and they don't know that they have it because they'll have a very mild case. And then in other cases, the disease is very obvious. People will have tumors externally on their skin, or they'll have brain tumors. These tumors can be very disfiguring and very debilitating.
Yeah.
So then there's a second kind of neurofibromatosis is NF type 2, and that's 1 in 25,000 births. I think that's the latest statistic. Yeah. And that's mostly internal tumors that cause deafness, blindness, balance issue. It's very serious.
Now, for those people who don't know, is that something, so you're born with it, you said. And does it lay dormant sometimes?
Yes.
Okay, so you may not, so it's never something that you could develop later in life. It's something you're born with and could be dormant for a while.
Exactly.
Okay.
You are born with this genetic condition. Okay. And the sad thing about neurofibromatosis is it's so unpredictable. You just cannot tell how a person will be affected. Yeah. So genetically, in 50% of the cases, the gene is inherited from a parent. One of the parent will have the gene, and then each child can have a 50-50 chance of inheriting it. In another 50% of the cases, it's a spontaneous mutation. So it just occurs in utero as the baby is developing, and then that child is born with neurofibromatosis, and then they can also pass it on to their offspring. Okay. So if a person says, oh, I don't have that in my family, it doesn't mean
they're not carrying the gene.
No, or that it could.
Or that it couldn't come.
It could occur.
Right.
It could occur in families. And many of the families that are involved with our organization have children who are the first in their family that have NF.
Interesting. So the organization, the Northeast Division, this office has been in Burlington for 18 years.
Yes.
Tell me, what made you guys get involved? What made you get involved in NF?
Well, the organization itself
Yes.
is 30 years old.
Okay.
And we've been in Burlington for 18 years, but prior to that, we were at my kitchen table. That's where it...
All good things happen at kitchen tables, can't they? Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And my husband and I adopted, we have 4 children, and one of our children is adopted from Korea, and she came to us when she was 5. And the day that she arrived in our home, we noticed the birthmarks. She has those cafe au lait birthmarks all over her body. And the next day we took her to our pediatrician, and he said, these birthmarks are an indicator of a genetic condition that will cause tumors to grow.
Now, did you know about it at all at that point?
No, we had
Isn't that amazing?
We had no clue.
You had no background information on NF. I mean, you were learning it like you just described it to us, for example.
Absolutely.
Okay. Continue.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We knew nothing, and we did not know that she had it. You know, when she had been living in the streets of Korea, we had no family history, and when they released her for adoption, a doctor examined her, and one of the questions was, are there any identifying marks on this child's body? And the doctor checked off the box that said no. And we
Really?
said, really?
Yeah.
She was covered.
Yeah.
She was covered with these spots. So as I said, she was about 5 years old at that time. When she was 9 years old, she was struck down with tumors growing internally in her organs, which really took us by surprise because we were expecting tumors to develop externally on her body. These were internally and huge and quite devastating. So she spent the next year in and out of Mass General Hospital. She had numerous surgeries and at one point was on life support.
Wow.
It was during that time that I asked her surgeon if he could tell me about any other families that are living with neurofibromatosis. I'd like to meet them. And it was through him that I was able to connect to other families. And before we knew it, my husband and I were fundraisers. You know, we didn't know what we were doing, but when you're driven by passion and you care so much for your child, and then, as I said, we met other people, and I began to see how other families were affected by NF, we became really passionate about trying to stop it.
Isn't that amazing? Because I actually really believe that passion drives and fuels most of the great things. You know, when you think about organizations and what they do, you always find a pivotal part where the passion comes into play.
That's
right. Know, it's beautiful. Okay, speaking of passion, we are going to take a break and look at Help Us, which happens to also, May is important for NF, but it's also very important for Help Us. Joyce and her crew have made it the month of kindness, thanks to a lot of help from the state legislature, excuse me. So we'll be right back after this brief message from Help Us. Okay, that's the first
So we
line.
used 9 minutes.
Okay, we are back. Thank you to Joyce and her crew. Again, Help Us does some beautiful work. Please look out for them. May is the month of kindness. I just like saying that out loud, right? So I am back with Karen and Diana of Neurofibromatosis Northeast. I got a little cocky on that one. Yeah. But in any event, so we're back, and you told us a lot about the passion that drove you, which is clear and obvious, yes. And for 18 years, the organization has been in existence 18 years in Burlington.
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit about the organization, because you said it perfectly in the last segment. It is, you are all of a sudden, you find yourself in having to do an organization and fundraise and do events. So tell me a little bit about the office and what it's doing and what kind of events are coming up.
Well, we raise 70% of our revenues annually are raised through special events.
Yeah.
And special events are great because they bring people together. Families come together to support each other, and they can raise some funds.
Yes.
And events also create awareness.
Yes.
Diana's our director of special events.
So it keeps me busy.
Yeah.
And being in May, we're entering into our busy season right now for events. We
Yes.
have an international golf tournament at the International Golf Club in Bolton,
Yes.
celebrating its 33rd
Third
year
year.
in June, on June 20th.
Yes.
And the Falmouth Road Race down on Cape Cod. We have a group of 25 runners that pledge to raise money and spread awareness for NF Northeast.
Yeah. When is that?
That is August 19th down in
19th.
Falmouth.
Nice.
If you're interested.
You want to run that?
Let me
You know what? Once upon a time, this girl was a runner. Maybe I'm coming back.
It is,
Yeah.
it is a great race,
Yeah.
such a historic, beautiful race,
how
and it's
nice.
just such a fun day down on the
April
Cape.
19th.
Yeah,
I may
think
just do
about
that,
it.
ladies.
August,
Okay.
August 19th. Yep,
19th.
August 19th.
Okay, go
Yep.
on. Yes.
And then, one of our largest events, our Coast to the Cure NF bike ride. It's on September 8th this year. It starts and ends at Stage Fort Park in Gloucester.
Okay.
And we have 4 route options: 24, 45, 66, or 100 miles to bike ride. And it's a great day. Riders start in the morning, they finish off at Stage Fort Park. Their friends and family come to cheer them on. We have a barbecue. It's just such a great day. We've had great luck with weather, so
Yes.
it's a beautiful ride along the North Shore.
Yeah. You know what I love about events, though, too, is you raise money and you raise awareness and it makes people feel good. It's like a perfect trifecta. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's,
Yes.
And that's the nice part. It's a lot of work, though. So are you doing this all in-house, or are you doing this with volunteers? I mean, what?
Right. I mean, we
volunteers.
Yeah.
are a staff of 5, which
Yeah.
is not a lot for the amount of work we do.
No,
but
because
we
you
are
just named 3 major
major
events.
major
Yeah.
events, but we rely so heavily on our volunteers, which are a lot of just our NF families that come out, support us year after year after year. We could not do it without the support of our volunteers.
How about corporate volunteers? Do you look for that? Do you look for people do you have corporate partners who come and
Yes.
volunteer with you? And is that something that comes into play?
Yes,
Yep.
we do.
Okay, all right. So
We're
that
very
if they,
fortunate. We
Yeah.
have a lot of corporate sponsors.
Great, great.
So they sustain us.
Perfect. So, okay, Diana, you said May is an important month.
May is an important month
Yes.
for Helpus, but also for
Yes,
neurofibromatosis.
absolutely.
May is Worldwide NF Awareness Month.
Great.
And so, we can provide the support to NF families, we can raise money for research, but it's nothing unless we have awareness of neurofibromatosis and what it is.
Right.
So last year we launched a campaign. We call it What's the Word?
What's the word?
And it was really started to encourage people to get out of your comfort zone, because NF is easy to say, but it's neurofibromatosis. So get out of your
Correct.
comfort zone and learn how to say it and encourage others to say it.
Yes.
So we created a campaign that encouraged people to make videos trying to say neurofibromatosis, because you said it yourself. It's
Yes.
a tough word.
Tough
We
word.
know it. We
Yeah.
know it's a
But
tough
I'll
word.
tell you what, when you say it, you're pretty proud of yourself.
You're proud of yourself, and that's the very first step, is you have to say it. So we actually created T-shirts as well that we sell on our
let's see.
website, and flat out asks you, what's the word?
What's the word?
And the answer is
word is-
neurofibromatosis.
Yeah, I
it's
love
easy
that.
when you break it out like
Have
that.
you had a good reception to that?
Oh,
Because
yes.
we loved it at the Chamber. We did a few different takes of it for you, and we took some pictures with it, and that turned into our little thing for a while. I mean, it's a great awareness campaign.
Yes, it is.
Is that for just Northeast, or is that across the board? Is everybody doing that particular T-shirt?
Pretty
That's
much
just us.
everybody's
Oh, that's great.
taking it across the country,
Yeah.
and people from all across the country
Yes.
are buying shirts from
Yes.
us because they want to do it.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
really fun.
Yeah.
And,
So
we're having
how
fun.
can people that are watching, how could they buy a T-shirt if they
Sure, right on
wanted
our
to?
website at nfnortheast.org.
nfnortheast.org. Now, I asked this question before we went on the air, so we'll talk about it again. You guys are located in Burlington,
Yeah.
and you're located, which I love, inside the barn next to AJ Rose,
Right.
correct? How long have you been there?
We've been in the barn. I think we're in our 7th or 8th year now.
I
About
love that. You're right in the center of town.
We love this barn.
Yeah.
We love this barn. It's a perfect working space
beautiful.
for us,
Yeah.
and it's perfect.
Yeah. So How long have you been there, though? Because you told me you moved around a little bit with it.
8 years.
8
Well,
years.
I've been at a few places.
Right.
And
From the kitchen.
I went from the kitchen
Yeah.
to a room very, very small over
Yes.
on Ray Ave.
Yes.
It was an extra room that one of my friends had. He said, oh, you can put a computer and a desk in there, so it was just a room enough for one person. And then I moved over to 9 Bedford Street to the McDonald and Vaccaro Insurance
Yes.
Building to the attic. So I went from this closet to an attic, and now we moved next door into the barn.
Yeah.
So that is my 18 years.
I love that. But
moving
for
around.
those of you watching, I don't want to minimize this, that kitchen to the attic to the barn. This is a major organization. I mean, you ladies are doing major
are.
work there.
We are.
You're raising not only a lot of awareness for neurofibromatosis, but you're raising a lot of money for them, which
Yes,
is
we are.
really impressive. So where does the money go?
Well, the money. Can I just explain to you how we raise money? Well, I
Absolutely.
mean, what we do with the money. We give small seed grants to researchers who are preparing to ask for a government grant.
Okay.
And they can get a grant either through the National Institutes of Health or
Yes.
the Department of Defense. But the second way we promote research is we lobby Congress. And for the past 22 years now, we've been quite a loud voice on the Hill in Washington for
Good for you.
neurofibromatosis research. And I'm really proud to say that because of our efforts, I mean, we've raised over $500 million in government funding,
It's unbelievable.
which is really great.
Anybody
because
who's fundraised it should be like hitting the floor now. That's
it
unbelievable.
really
Yeah.
was the best thing that we ever did. So we fund the scientists up. I mean, we've only given away $3 million. This is what our organization's given away in small seed grants. And we can't raise $500 million at bike rides and golf tournaments, you know.
Right.
So it was the best thing we ever did was to lobby Congress. And because of that, some amazing breakthroughs have been made in NF research. And we're very hopeful. There are clinical trials now using drugs to try to stop these tumors. And we've come a long way since 30 years ago when there was nothing.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
And I think that really, it drives it home that you really do need, it's a marriage of, getting funding from the country or from Congress,
Right.
and then also the smaller things for the awareness and to be able to
That's
seed
right.
some research.
That's
Because I think one without the other, it kind of falls apart a
You're
little bit.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
It's remarkable work. If you were to give somebody one thing, if you wanted to leave, and I'll ask you both this question, so you get to cheat and wait a minute because I'm going to ask Karen first. If you were to give somebody a sentence on neurofibromatosis, like if you wanted to leave somebody with a thought with it, what would that thought be? Like someone who really doesn't touch it on a day-to-day, but you wanted to say something about your organization to them.
Well, what I would say is to everybody out there, they probably know somebody who has neurofibromatosis. And it's because it's not rare, it's out there, it's not always obvious, but it can be very debilitating, and people really suffer from the effects of neurofibromatosis.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I would say.
Great. Diana, how
Yeah,
about
I
you?
mean, you covered neurofibromatosis, but I'll cover NF Northeast. And I always say, we're a relatively small nonprofit, but that doesn't mean we can't do big things.
Right.
And I mean, you've met Karen, so with passion, you can
Right.
do anything.
Right, I love that. All right. This is great. Honest to God, I'm going to run. I'm going to learn how to bike. And what I already know how to do that I don't need to train for
to
is
say.
eat. No, and I can eat. No, I can say neurofibromatosis. So we're going to go to our next segment, which is our foodies segment. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to visit our foodie segment. Katie and I say this every time we do these shows, have a very tough job, but we have to go to our restaurant partners.
Someone's gonna do it.
Someone has to do it and make sure the quality control is on target. We'll be right back after our foodies segment. Hi, everybody. We are in the back of Servizios at 1 Wall Street in Burlington. We're here with Kelly Pearson, the executive chef. Kelly's going to be doing a demonstration for us, and then we'll hear about this great spot that has been here for how long, Kelly?
Almost 15 years.
15 years. So thank you for doing this with us. Tell us what you're making today.
Today I'm making a butternut squash ravioli with sauteed apples and spicy pecans.
Fantastic. So we are going to show you, or I'm not going to show you anything. Kelly's going to show you how to make it, and then we'll hear about all the other great things that Servizio's doing. I'm going to walk around you so you can do your thing.
Add shallots and garlic to the pan.
And what kind of stuffing is inside those, inside the raviolis?
It's butternut squash, amaretto, ricotta cheese. They're made by Dino's in Stoneham.
Great.
I mean, Somerville. Sorry.
Somerville. All good things come from Somerville.
I'm going to add apples. I like to use gala apples.
Gala apples.
Do not break down as much, so they hold their shape, which is what you need when you're sautéing.
Great. And do you find that this is something that people like to eat all year long? Is this one of the ones that people look for, Kelly, or do they?
It's pretty seasonal. It starts about September, and it goes until probably February.
Till February, so you got to get here soon so you can get her raviolis. There you go. Now, are these things that sometimes you put on special here if someone wanted to come and get them, or they come?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. We have these on special. We do about 10 to 12 specials a day. In the winter, we also do 2 soups, which we make from scratch. A vegetarian soup and a meat soup. In the summer, it slows down a little bit as far as soup goes, but we do gazpacho, a bunch of different gazpachos that are very popular.
Oh, that's great.
I'm going to put a little more salt. I'm going to add a little heavy cream.
See, real chefs can just like kind of do that. I'd be like, wait a minute. Let me see if I can. How long have you been cooking? How long have you been doing this?
And I became executive chef about 9 or 10 years ago.
Wow.
So I've been here almost 15.
So it's been a love of yours.
It is a
to be
love.
able-
So this is just going to reduce a little, and as you can see, it's getting a little bit thicker, and it's creating that sauce and melding in with the apples and the apple juice. Then I have an herb mix. This is parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, like the song.
I was just going to start singing for you. Right. But no one wants to hear me sing.
A little bit of cayenne pepper, because with the sweet, you need a little spicy to create the balance that makes the dish good.
Perfect. So are you making these to order when people are ordering this dish, or are you, when it's a special, do you have some of it set up and then you'll add the chicken for them?
We have some of it set up, but we are making it partially to order them.
Perfect.
It's not so good. These have, we make them in-house. They have cinnamon, cayenne, chili powder, a little bit of sugar, salt, and then egg whites makes the glaze. It's what makes them crunchy.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Tell you what, that's a good looking plate. All right, we're going to sit down and talk about a few other things, but this is butternut squash. Give me the butternut squash ravioli with an apple and cream and beautiful pecans and yum. Okay, so we are here with Kelly Pearson, who is the executive chef for Servizios. Kelly, I just want to go through the hours and the location for people watching.
We are at 1 Wall Street. Our hours are 7 to 3 o'clock Monday through Thursday and 7 to 2:30 on Friday. We're not open on the weekends.
Okay. And what I was saying earlier, which I want to make sure everybody who's watching, sometimes people are under the impression because it's in a corporate building, they think it's just for the corporate offices. But Servizios is open to the public, yes?
Yes, we're open to the public, and we're happy to see everyone who comes. We have a lot of regulars from the area that come in.
Fantastic. And it's really easy to get to because there's a lot of parking here for those who don't or who haven't come into 1 Wall Street. A lot of people have, of course. And then you do catering, off-site catering as well.
Yes, corporate catering.
Okay. So when people wanted to order for corporate catering, can they do that? Now that's an interesting question. Do you do catering as well for evenings or afternoons if people wanted to pick it up earlier during your hours?
We do that, and we also occasionally will stay for a client if they need something at 4 o'clock or 4:30. We do our best to do whatever we can to help the client.
So we obviously saw you making the butternut squash, which was beautiful, and Katie and I did taste tests because that's critically important for the viewing audience. But tell me something. People obviously in the new year, but also just in general, a lot of people like healthy options as well, maybe less fat options, I'll call them. So you do salads, soups, all of that?
We do. We do a bunch of different salads. We have salads on our regular menu, and we do our own soups and our own dressings that we make from scratch here. And then we have specials, 10 or 12 specials a day. Right now we're doing a lot of power bowls and quinoa kale salads and different things like that that are very low in fat and high in protein, which We want people to come in here, and when they leave after they've had lunch, we want them to still feel good, not like they need a nap.
Exactly, that's right, because that's usually me. But what's your favorite? If you could pick a salad that was your favorite that you guys are making right now, what would that be?
I'm making a French lentil salad with Asian barley, which I found, I like to read a lot. When I'm not here, I'm usually reading about food. And I found this called Job's Tears. It's fairly new. It's very high in protein, and it's gluten-free. It's a very healthy choice. So I did the French lentils, the Job's Tears, lemon, carrots, celery, a little bit of roasted squash, and then I put a little lemon, a little olive oil, honey, and Dijon.
Beautiful. So it's clear by listening to you talk that you love to cook. You're a foodie, right? Yeah. You were a foodie from the start, right? That's something I think people are ingrained with. Like, I think they get to be foodies.
I think so.
So when was it that you said, I mean, I know you talked about, you know, your kids were younger, you came, you worked on a part-time basis with Guy. By the way, Servizios been here 15 years. We'll repeat that for people. And when was it that you said, I want to be a chef?
The funny thing is, when I got married, which is almost 30 years ago, I cooked 5 things, and I really wasn't interested in cooking. And my aunt gave me Bon Appetit magazine, and I started reading it, and I was intrigued. I just started staying home with my children, and I started cooking, and people started responding. And when my husband and I entertained, people started asking me about things, and I really became passionate about food then. And then people started asking me to cook for them. I'm having a party, could you do this? So I had a little side business going before I met Guy, doing catering, and that's when I really thought, you know, I think I could be a chef now and maybe do something with this once the boys are older.
Right. It's pretty impressive because honestly, and I mean this with all sincerity, when you walk in here, this is not your average cafeteria, quote unquote. I think when people see something that's inside an office building, they're assuming it's cafeteria style. And while you can go up and get things, what you're serving is really something that people would go to sit-down restaurants for. You know, there's so many options for people in here. Do you find people are surprised when they say your menu at first?
Yes, very surprised. And they ask a lot of different questions. How do we do it? What do we do? Why do we do it? But we want people to feel when they come in here that they want to come back, that they are not disappointed. It's the same old salad, same old sandwich. We have beautiful salads and sandwiches, but we also provide a lot of different options. If you want to have a cheat day, and you want to have the butternut squash raviolis, or if you want to have the lentil salad with a piece of salmon so that you can go out that night and have a couple drinks and a nice meal.
There you go, right, exactly. Or you could be like me and have both.
Well,
no, I'm only kidding.
Too.
No, that's.
You couldn't do that.
But you're
you don't
right.
look like you do that every day.
I don't know, but it is. You know, it's actually really impressive to see what's going on in here. So, for those who also don't know, you're a Burlington resident, of course,
I am.
and you've been here for
31 years.
Okay. And both you and your family, but also Servizios gives back to the community. So you were talking about, instead of tips here, tell everybody who's watching what Servizios does.
So we take all of the tips that people give us and we match whatever it is and we donate to people helping people. So we really believe that if you have the opportunity to help someone, you should help them.
Right. That's fantastic. And I think sometimes people, you know, they don't really realize that. You know, they don't realize that giving back, there's a lot of good that comes from it, not only for the charity, but it feels good as a business owner to be giving back. So that's fantastic.
And everyone here supports that and they feel good about it too.
That's fantastic. All right, so you told us your favorite salad, but just throwing everything out there, your favorite thing to make. What would you pick?
I wouldn't pick a specific item.
Yeah.
I'm very seasonal. So right now I'm almost getting over winter. I'm kind of finished with the squash and all of those things that we've been making. And I'm looking forward to lemon and asparagus and all of the new fresh things that come in with the spring peas and all of those things. So I would say my favorite thing to make is something unexpected where I go in the walk-in and I think, okay, these are what I have today and I'm going to make a special. Almost like Chopped.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Right. And you want to know what I love about it is because it's seasonal here, people, when they come back, they could really be seeing different plates altogether just based on the season that they're in.
Yes, you could come a few times a week and see something different. We change our specials. We probably make 12 to 15 orders. So when you come back, if you came on Monday, quite often, if you came back Wednesday and you wanted what we had Monday, it might not be here because we're always changing, so that if you work in the building or in the area and you want to come here, we're going to give you something new all the time.
Let's talk about breakfast.
Breakfast. We do a lot of corporate catering for breakfast now. It's very popular. We do breakfast sandwiches, fruit salad, bagels and muffins, pastries. Yogurt parfaits are very popular. We just added a Greek yogurt parfait, so no sugar in the yogurt, or very low sugar. You can get it with nuts or granola or some fresh berries. We do breakfast burritos, breakfast quesadillas, frittatas, stratas, French toast, Belgian waffles.
Belgian waffles.
With whipped cream and strawberries and yes.
Not to be the day that you also have raviolis.
No.
Yeah, okay.
But we do a lot of that in the area and in the surrounding towns. People are interested more now in getting their people in the morning and having morning meetings, and it's a good way to give people a good start to the day.
Absolutely. Burlington Company's delivery is free, you said, correct?
It's free in Burlington.
And you do deliver outside of Burlington as well. All right.
Yes.
And then, let's see, if you could tell somebody something about Servizios, like a message. If you wanted to give somebody a message about Servizios, what would you say? Because I almost find there's a lot of people that come here, it's busy at lunch, it's busy at breakfast, but it's almost like a little hidden secret to some people who maybe just never make it down this way, or you know? So if you were going to give that person a little something about Servizios, what do you think you'd say?
I would say you can come here, and I would like you to feel like you're coming to my home. When you come here, we're happy to have you here. We want to make your experience exactly the way you'd like it. And there are often times we do miss the mark occasionally, but we're going to make it right. We're going to fix it. We're going to make it better. And the owner, Guy Chalfie, and I are always available to all of our customers. And that's the difference between us and, say, a chain or a place where there are a lot of people working. If you need to speak to someone, you're going to speak to me, the executive chef, or the owner.
Fantastic. All right, everybody, you heard that. Servizios. I'm with Kelly Pearson, who's the executive chef. 1 Wall Street in Burlington, open 5 days a week. 7 a.m. is the opening, and open till 3 every day, except Fridays closes at 2:30. You do not want to miss it. For Back Talk Foodies, I'm Sonia Rollins. All right, so we know how to eat now. We're very good at that. I know how to say Neurofibromatosis Northeast. Karen and Diana, thank you so much for being here with me. The word is neurofibromatosis. It's for the month of May is NF Awareness Week. Month. And please go on their website and take a look at it, nfnortheast.org.
Yep.
You can order a T-shirt there. You can volunteer. You can go to a
Donate.
golf tournament, donate, run, bike, do something great for a passionate group. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining me. For Back Talk, I'm Sonia Rollins.
Thank you, Sonia.
That's great.
Oh, absolutely.
Great.